big shout out to everyone who's here. Steve hasn't turned up because he's crapping his pants because I'm testing him today. I've picked up some random books from the shop. We've got some interesting ones. Teeming with nutrients. Hydroponics. What's hydroponics? Hydroponics for everybody. Plant nutrition and soil fertility manual. Hydroponic food production. Photosynthesis. Teeming with microbes. Oh, you've arrived.
Yeah.
Oh,
and you've gone live.
Yeah, I have gone live.
Nice one.
In the dark by myself because I can't figure out how to put the TV on without you.
What's going on, homies? You're listening to NPK Live, the Hydroponics Podcast. You're listening to NPK Live. To all the listeners around the world, you're listening to NPK Live.
Yeah, podcast 113 with myself, Thomas.
And myself, Stephen.
And as I keep saying, it's tea testing Steve. So, first book. I picked this book up. Well, it's just at the top of the pile anyway. Not saying that it's number one or it's the best or whatever. I'm just picking up a book. So, funny about this book is we actually stocked this in our shop for sale. It's, let's see if everybody can see that there. Hydroponics for Everybody by William Texia. Yeah. Yeah.
You're waiting ages there because there's the delay on.
Yeah, I'm just checking that. Yeah, so now I've seen that. So, is this our signed one?
No, as if the signed one's pride of place on my library. Yeah,
is it? Okay.
Yeah, the signed one comes from the podcast we did with William.
Yeah,
about 2 years ago.
Yeah, so we actually have done a podcast with the guy. Big shout out to William Tech. Yeah, very knowledgeable guy. So, you've been reading, haven't you?
I have been. I'm always reading.
What does it say on page 75?
I think it mentions hydroponics. Actually, I know it mentions hydroponics.
Well done. Excellent, Stephen. Oh, okay. For some reason, I like to read books backwards.
Yeah, you are a bit strange like that. And if it doesn't have a picture on every other page, it gets lashed. So you really do like William Texia's book. So I tell you what, while you're looking up something
No, because I'm on humidity here.
Okay.
And it's saying to me here, William Texia is saying to me, humidity. I start with the parameters more often overlooked. Simply because if you want to keep temperature and CO2 in a good range, it is difficult to achieve an optimum humidity level, especially in small, confined space.
And you want me to elaborate?
Yes, please. What's that mean? Because I haven't got a clue what he's talking about there.
Okay, so when our temperature, when we keep our temperature in an optimal environment, it tends to mean that it's a little bit cooler. So the warmer the air is, the more humidity it can hold.
In a what environment? It's an optimal.
In an optimal environment.
Optimal.
So when CO2 and temperatures are in the optimal environment, it can be quite hard unless you've got humidifiers or dehumidifiers in certain instances to keep that humidity at the peak range, which is 70% in veg, dropping off to 50-55% in the transition first 2 weeks of flower.
So is he saying it's really hard to do this?
Not really hard, but you should pay attention. If you've got your temperatures at 25, 26 degrees Celsius and you've got CO2 in there as well, that you're at the mercy of the humidity on the outdoors. So if you're bringing in air from outdoors and it's warm, but your room's at 26, then there's going to be a lot of moisture being brought in. If it's cold, then there's going to be a lot of dry air being brought in. So he's just saying, just keep an eye on it. If you've not got methods of improving or decreasing the amount of humidity, then you need to stay away.
Okay.
Because as our temperatures go up, we can hold more moisture. And so humidity is high when we need it high in veg. And in cooler temperatures, humidity is lower because it holds less water in the air. But Then we get onto the complex subject of relative humidity. So relative to the cold air, it tends to be a lot of humidity. And in hot air, 28, 29 degrees, the air can hold a lot of water. So relative to the hot air,
All
there's
right.
low humidity.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Listen,
Okay,
humidity is a
okay.
complex conversation to have.
yeah. Well, I was only asking one question.
And then we didn't even touch on vapor pressure deficit.
No. Well, that's not in that part.
I don't think he touches on it in this book. It's a good intro to hydroponics, because vapor pressure deficit's not really something that a lot of people will want to know about.
There's something going on here.
What are you looking at?
I don't know. I might need some help.
Looks like a rainbow style graph.
It's like got colours. Is this the pH level?
Yes.
Is this something to do with pH? What's
Yes.
this? What is this funny rainbow thing here?
Okay, so the colours, the spectrum on the pH scales.
So
they
for
tend to be,
me podcast listeners,
they tend
I
to
am
be-
looking in the section of pH, and there is a diagram which is a rectangle bar, which is horizontal, and on one side it's like a colour green fading into a lime green, yellow, orange, red, deeper red, mauve, sort of purple, deeper purple, and then out a really deep dark sort of purpley colour. Starting on 1, and in the middle, on 1 it says acid. Right in the middle of the bar it says 7 and says neutral, and then at the end it says 14 and alkaline. What's this all about? What are they talking about here? Why have they got pictures? Why have they got a straight rainbow? If they're going to draw pictures of rainbows, why can't they at least make them curved?
So I think he's just doing on the book. I think he's just showing the different colours to show how pH increases and decreases. But you can there's no set colour unless you're doing litmus testing or you're using the colour indicators. Then they have set colours. But what he's showing there is basically acid, neutral, and base, I like to call it. So basic is how alkaline a substrate is, how alkaline a solution is, I should say. And he's just giving you some information there. pH, logarithmic scale, meaning that if we give 7, which is neutral...
So what's all this crap here? What's all that crap there? This chart thing.
So this is what I was about to mention here. So this chart here, H+ is hydrogen ions, pH is potential hydrogen, and OH is hydroxyl.
Where does it say that?
It doesn't. It might do actually in the... it probably gives a little bit of an explanation in the boxes below. Don't be bending me book. Hey, come on.
So what's all this?
So is H+ is a positive...
What's that mean?
Cation. It's hydroxyl, or hydrogen. It is hydrogen ions, H+. And then you've got OH-.
What's this got to do with any type of growing?
This is just the science of it. This is fundamental science, chemistry. It's not something that a lot of growers need to know. They don't have to know it
So
at all.
what's he telling us about here?
He's just giving you a more in-depth understanding about how pH works. If you understand how
so
pH
a bit of
works,
background into pH.
because what he's explaining there, and there's no real easy way of explaining the in-depth chemistry of pH. What he's explaining is that it's a logarithmic scale, which means a 0.7, if we give 0.7 0, then 0.6 is 100, 0.5 is 1,000, 0.4 is 10,000. So have you ever noticed when you're at pH 7, you drop on pH and it moves quite quickly, but then it starts to get harder to move it from 5 to 4 or 5 to 5.5. So he's giving you a bit of background information as to why it's you can find that you can drop from 7 to 6 really quickly with some pH down, but dropping from 5 to 4 takes a lot more pH down. And in the reverse as well, you can add.
All right.
This is your podcast.
I know. Well, this book, to be honest with you, I don't know. It looked quite complicated to me.
Adam said, I'm colourblind. He's making it up. Baffling science.
Well, to be honest with you, you know what I'm like for the pictures, especially all of my younger fans. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not really a big fan of these diagrams. So we've got pest and disease, and they've got this spider mite. I can tell it's a cartoon spider mite. Sorry, William. your information and everything's phenomenal, but I'm not too happy about the graphics. And I'm sure William doesn't do the graphics because he's not a graphics guy. But I don't really like that.
What is it that you don't like about it? Because for the people listening on the podcast, it's like a computer generated image of a Spider-Mite.
Yeah, and it looks like a cartoon. Would you say it looks a little more like an alien?
It does actually. Yeah, it looks like an alien with some red spots on his face.
Yeah, and I like seeing the photo images, the real images, maybe enlarged and a few different scenarios and different types of species of plants, so you can collate a different version.
Because seeing that picture, although it's good to see it magnified, if a grower was to look at that and then try and identify a Spider-Mite on his plant,
it's not happening.
Exactly.
And that's a nice picture.
A nice big red bell pepper.
But here's one for you. Silica.
Oh, silica. We love silica. My favourite. What's he saying about silica?
This one is at the limit between nutrition and additive. In order for an element to be considered indispensable to plants, there has to be evidence of a deficiency caused by the absence of that element.
So what he's saying is there's a 17, I think off the top of my head, there's 17 essential macro and micronutrients. Without any one of those 17...
Now, macro and micronutrients, are they the smaller elements?
So macro being your nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium. Your micro being stuff like your boron, your molybdenum, zinc, copper, all that sort of stuff. Things that are required in trace amounts. So there's 17 essential elements. Without any one of those 17, your plant will show deficiencies. Silica is not one of the 17 essential plant elements, so you can grow a plant really well and highly successful without the use of silica. However, you can also build a house without the use of cement. You could build mud huts, couldn't you?
Yeah.
It's not essential to the building of the house, but when you do build a house with cement and you do grow a plant with silica, you can grow a much better plant. It builds a much better foundation for the growth during veg, and the plant can support its heavy fruits if that's what you're growing it for. Also, pest and disease resistant, so it's good for every type of plant, whether you're eating it or not.
Okay.
Don't be testing me on any conversions either. That's not stuff I know.
No. To be honest, so that's hydroponics for everybody.
The title is perfect because it is. It's hydroponics for everybody, from beginners. Listen, even though I've read that one and...
Give me a 1 minute spiel about the book.
Okay, here it is. It literally is hydroponics for everybody. Colour illustrations, really good, easy to understand descriptions. William really covers the basics and then the mid-level stuff about hydroponics. If you feel as though you know a lot about hydroponics and you think, oh, I don't need to read that, listen, I've just flicking through that again. I would reread that again because there's always bits of information.
How much is the book?
How much is it? £20.
Yeah,
£20, I think.
Okay. I'm going to be honest. I haven't read all of the book. I've flicked through it enough times and I've scanned on certain sections and referenced little pieces from it. Very good book. Very, very good book. But I'll be honest, there is some other favourites I have. We'll get to some of them in a bit.
He's left it till last. Ryan said, what's this book called and where can I find it? It is called the author is William Texia, Hydroponics for Everybody, all about home horticulture, and you can buy it, to be honest, off Amazon. That's going to be the easiest.
Well, to be honest, Adam's already answered it for him.
And you can get it in the shop as well.
Or you can get it from us.
Yeah.
But, don't worry if you don't get it from us, but please get it.
If you want the book tomorrow, get it off Amazon. If you'd like to wait, you can get it from ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. So that's that. Good book. I like it. All these books, I'm not going to say one bad thing about these books. They're my books.
Right. Teeming with Nutrients by Jeff Longfellows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome author. Really, really good. And this guy, new contributor to the Garden Culture magazine.
We know this guy?
Not personally.
No.
But yes, we can have phone conversations with him and chat with him. Yeah, he's a good leading authority on mostly organic growing. So Adam,
what does it say on page 22?
I imagine it says something along the lines of nutrients.
Oh, okay.
Definitely has that word in there.
Let's have a look.
This book is a little bit... Let me have a little quick scan through my books. Yeah. So this book is probably the next entry-level book. After you've read William Tex's Hydroponics for Everybody, you'd want to move on to something like...
what is a sim porter? And an anti-porter?
Anti-porter, so you're starting to test me now. So a sim porter and anti-porter will be, in very, very rough, vague, pull it from your brain, is channels that allow a plant to, or cells to take in nutrients, and a
let me just show
you
let me, because obviously, boys, it's D in it, but I'm not going to go light. I don't know what this shit is. Right, that's what I've just pulled out the book there.
That's what, for the people listening, it's essentially
It looks like two vertical lines with. It looks like, I suppose it looks like when you're looking at the train station map and all the different train stations where they stop at. That's just what it looks like, with all mad little symbols by it. Looks crazy. So what is that? Are you telling me that's like the veins to the plant?
Yeah, it's a good way of...
The motorway to the plant?
Yeah, and certain motorways allow you in, certain motorways let you out.
I.e. sim porter and anti-porter?
Sim porter, I'm probably going to get these wrong because it was a while ago I read that book, but I'm going to say sim porter gets stuff in, anti-porter gets stuff out.
Well, I'll tell you what, Steve. Top marks on that, because I didn't know that. So, you know what, I'll let you have a little look, and I'll let you actually check up on your info, because I didn't know that, bro. So, well in.
Yeah, so the sim porters outside the cell, getting stuff in.
Okay.
Anti-porters getting stuff out. And they exchange different... so they both exchange positive and negative cations, anions. And essentially it's the cell saying, what am I taking in? What is good for me? Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium. What is not so good for me? So I've got quite enough of molybdenum and zinc in my cell at the moment. I don't need any more. So it's not going to let any more in.
You know, as I'm scanning through this book, you know what this book brings back to mind to me? Sort of a bit of, is it biology?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Biology?
Yeah,
okay. And I'm looking here and it's saying transport proteins. Mm-hmm. What's a transport protein?
So a transport protein is your double-decker bus to get you from A to B. So the protein is the double-decker bus, and whatever it's transporting, it's people. Is people like you and me. It's moving stuff around the plant. So stuff like nitrogen is a mobile nutrient, and for it, once there's new shoots growing, if there's not enough nitrogen in the root zone, then it will the transport proteins will take nitrogen from one part of the plant.
This is a bit of an overload. So you're telling me basically these plants are actually like real living things here?
Yeah, they're real. And
there's all sorts of stuff going on inside?
All sorts. Wait till you get to Marshall's mineral nutrition. I mean, it's not basic by any stretch of the imagination.
No,
but
to be honest, I've only cracked open 2 pages there just on random, and I'm just like, oh, shit.
But when you understand this stuff, it allows you to make educated choices and purchases.
Yeah, it is something I can relate to, yeah. NPK.
It's funny you picked that name.
What? I know, what's that? How come they've got the same name as us? Hey,
they stole our name.
They stole our name.
Them bloody plants. NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. 3 of the most important elements within the plant.
Is that what our name means?
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
So NPK is plant nutrition, and technology is all the technology that goes into hydroponics. So it's
well, at the back we've got some various ranges of different NPK ratios. Are these? I don't know. I'm not sure. Are these ratios that they're making up, or recommended, or standard, or set? If you look for, I don't know, you might have to help me out here, Steve.
Yeah.
Back guano NPK 1031.
So yeah, back guano, because it's an organic book, it's giving you ratios of, you can go out and buy back guano from the shops, and if people are a little bit stuck, then knowing that ratio 1031, that's high in nitrogen. So this is good to use in early vegetative stages, and also good for rooting plants as well. If you find something a bit later on, you might find corn or...
Yeah, I've got
corn meal.
Corn gluten meal.
Yeah.
NPK
What's the ratio of that?
900.
So really high in nitrogen, no phosphorus, no potassium, maybe something good like that to correct deficiencies if you've...
So basically, this book is a real in-depth to the biology of...
And the biochemistry,
of the plant. Yeah. So a serious book.
hinged more to do more on the organic side of growing now.
Okay.
So, Adam, really good book for you.
Give us a breakdown. Give us a breakdown. 1 minute.
Jeff Lowenfels, Teaming with Nutrients, The Organic Gardener's Guide to Optimizing Plant Nutrition. If you don't like science and you don't like the nitty-gritty of what's going on in the plant, do not purchase this book. Actually, no. I'll say probably not purchase this book.
That is not a book for me, sorry.
To
be honest, Hydroponics for Everybody is still not a book for me, to be honest, because it's...
You're a doer.
Yeah,
you're practical.
Yeah, I'm not a book person, so I'm not slating your books, guys. I'm just saying I'm not a book person.
Yeah.
You can slate me and say, "T, that's bad," and that's. But it's just me. Don't get me wrong. There is some books that I've used in my past, and they're probably like baby books to me. Do you know what I mean? But it's just the way that they write them and top tips and the way they provide it. I'm a very visual learner rather than just reading text.
Yeah. So quick tips, and then you can go and implement those tips in actual.
Especially with images, an image with a tip showing you, and then a few various images saying, "Oh, well, look at this and how it's changed and what's happened." And I like that type of information.
And then you'll go and do.
Yeah.
Whereas my type of learning is that obviously doing is the quickest way to learn. It is, but beyond books. But what I'll do is I'll read Team with Nutrients, and then there'll be a lot of stuff in there that I don't quite understand, so I'll go and research that further.
How much is this?
£18. So when I said if you don't like science, don't get it, that's a bit of a bold statement. There are bits in that book that is good, that would be good for people. It just depends if you want to spend £18 to extract little bits and bobs from it.
Okay. And that's Teaming with Nutrients from Jeff Lowenfels.
These, you know what? Actually, funnily enough, very roughly, these are in order of.
I need to stop throwing that on there because it's vibrating something ruthless. Now,
these are in order of how in depth and how scientific the books get. -1 or 2.
What was that?
That was a fly.
That was a fly.
Join us.
Just nearly flew in my mouth on live podcast.
Someone else said, by the way, it's nice to know that you're actually a human and not a cyborg. They weren't sure because you never take your glasses off.
Oh, okay. It's just because my eyes get a bit funky with all the smoking in here.
Adam said he's talking about cells and what gets into a cell and gets out of a cell.
Oh.
He said he's been in a cell once since 5.
Oh yeah. So it's a lot easier to get into them to get out of them. So what did we say they were called?
Symplastic and antiplastic. So a symplastic is what gets you into a cell. Tell us what gets you into a cell.
Oh, some shit can get you into a cell. Hey, and it can be very easy, believe it or not. Some of the simplest things.
And what's antiplastics like? The lawyer gets you out the cell.
Yeah, Kieran, phone Kieran. if you need him, phone him.
Eamon is like a bit of a private joke which Thomas will describe. Any books on glass safety on board yachts? I'd say ammo.
Yes, ammo. What are you saying, my brother? Make sure you link me afterwards.
So there's a really good book on glass safety.
Do not let ammo touch anything with glass on the yacht at all. Keep him away from it. You know what? We'll get him a big safety suit and
safety glasses.
Yeah, safety glasses, everything. Yeah. Well.
No, there's no books today anyway on glass safety.
Also, ammo. I've actually got a present for you, bro. I've got a replacement for that. A nice special piece of equipment for you that we've got in our city. So when Slim comes down, come down with them next, please, bro. And I've got it sitting here for you. Cool. And that's yours.
Jay Fox has joined. Jay's is Fox. He has joined.
Fox. Yes, Jay.
Nice to have you with us, buddy.
So
what's up next? J. Benton Jones Jr.
Plant Nutrition and Soil Fertility Manual, the 2nd edition.
There's probably newer editions now if you're looking to buy it.
I'm just holding it up because I'm waiting for the delay.
Making sure it's good on screen. Yeah, a little
Blessings,
bit dark, but you can make it out roughly. Flick through it. I haven't. This was a while ago. I read this.
Oh, look what's going on here. Oh, yeah, he's been colouring in. I've
highlighted sections.
Highlight sections. Are they the ones where you can't read? Oh, yeah, I'll read it out to you then. Come on, then.
So the highlight sections are actually really good, important points. So read one out.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to help you out, because obviously if you've been reading these bits, haven't you? So
I can't even remember what I've highlighted now. I'm hoping it's interesting.
CO2, a molecule, a carbohydrate molecule is formed, and a molecule of oxygen, O2, is released and is illustrated in the following equation. Why have you highlighted that?
That's the equation of photosynthesis.
Oh, okay. And what?
So it takes in CO2.
What is photosynthesis?
Photosynthesis is the capture of carbon dioxide.
Oh, yeah. Look, I'm on to you. He's been highlighting that book, and then he's went and got this book because he didn't know what photosynthesis was. So he bought photosynthesis. Oh, yes, this is great.
So yeah, photosynthesis, capture of sunlight on the chlorophyll part of the leaf. In the presence of carbon dioxide, will produce a sugar molecule, glucose, which the plant uses for energy, and gives a waste product of a oxygen molecule. And water, obviously water, H2O at the beginning as well.
Okay. Well, you've highlighted...
What else have I highlighted?
Yeah, right. Let me just cut in here and see if I can pick up from here. The association between the temperature and CO2 air content is less an influencing factor for C3 than C4 plant species. C4 plant species have a higher water use efficiency, grow well in hot environments, have a higher productivity potential and optimum air temperature requirement, and lower transpiration potential and photorespiration rates than C3 plant species. C4 plant species do not grow well in low light environments. Most of the world... Oh, I haven't got my glasses on. Does that say... What's that say? What's this figure? What's this figure here? Minus 300,000. What's that? What are they talking about there?
Yeah, most of the world's on, and that symbol is means on average 300,000 plant species are C3. The major C4 food plants are corn, millet, sorghum, and sugarcane, and are grown worldwide.
Right. What I'm going to ask you about here is, what are they talking about? Plants C4 and C3. What?
So C3 plants have got within. Something I'm going to have to research more.
Yeah.
But look.
Yes, I've got it.
Within the molecule, it's 3 carbon molecules.
He doesn't know. What's C4 mean?
4 carbon molecules. So it's literally the difference between 1 carbon molecule on the plant. And that affects it by the metabolism of the plant and how it uses sunlight, how it moves its food around, how it takes up its food. But there's not... I wouldn't say there's major differences. But... most, I'd say,
This looks heavy, this book.
It is. It's a heavy book.
So this is just all about plant nutrition.
Really, to test me on that book, I would have had to read it this week.
So
it is heavy.
There's another graph in here. Just let me hold it up, and it's back to acidity and alkalinity.
Really good table, that actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Let's just
so
get that up there a second.
People are going to get to see on the live feed the actual picture. I'll describe it. Excuse me. So what it's a picture of is the absorption rates at different pH levels of the major nutrients: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, so on and so forth. You can see on this, if you're at home and you just listen to the podcast, Google the pH scale absorption factor or absorption rate.
So basically, what's this telling me? I've got...
So see the fat parts?
On the fat pieces.
Fat parts,
yeah.
That means that nitrogen is being absorbed, or the element is being absorbed really well when it's fat.
Yeah, when it's skinny.
And then have you noticed that horizontally across,
yeah,
there's the pH scale goes across from 4 to, does it go up to 8?
9.
On this particular pH scale. So you'll notice where it intersects the fat pieces of nitrogen, that means it's absorbed. So nitrogen is really well available across a wide pH range.
Yeah, okay.
But then if we scroll down to something like phosphorus, phosphorus doesn't get absorbed very well at all at pH above 7.
Yeah,
6.5 above 7.
Okay.
And then manganese really starts to decrease.
Oh,
when you go
so is this why we keep the
above
pH
6.3
in a certain range?
There you go. So look, where's
like
the pH
the gateway?
range? The gateway.
Is that the gateway? There's the
gateway right there.
Look, just that little bit.
Yeah. And you should notice that the majority of fat elements there are all being absorbed. So between 5.8 and 6.3.
That is a very good scale.
That's the gateway.
Isn't
so you'll
it?
see there where 5.8 to 6.3 is the majority of where the fat elements are, yeah?
Mm.
So it's good. It's good. Have a little look at that if you're on Google. Google the image, the pH scale, and absorption rates of nutrients.
Right. Very intense book, this. Very. Ooh.
What's this? That looks interesting.
Oh, it doesn't.
Excuse me. This sounds awful on podcast, but I'm really thirsty.
That looks really complicated.
What is it?
Plant analysis and tissue testing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they're getting to the interesting parts now. So, dry plant tissue analysis. This is how we find out whether a plant is deficient or how much of a nutrient creates toxicities.
After the plant's alive or dead?
When it's alive.
Okay.
So what you do is to take a leaf tissue analysis is you will take leaf from a certain plant, and you'll either take from top, middle or bottom, and you'll take it from as the stem comes out, and you'll see each leaf. You might decide that up that stem on the bottom of the plant, you're going to take that leaf. On every other plant, you need to go at the bottom and take the same leaf up that stem, if that makes sense. So it's the same, roughly the same
So you get
stage
the same
of growth.
sort of
Exactly.
thing, yeah. Okay.
And the people like CANNA, Dutch Pro, Buddha's Tree, Atami, Mills, Botanica, Vitalink, all the nutrient companies really, unless they've copied recipes off other people that have done the research, they will have done this. They will have made their nutrients, give it to the plants, and done dry plant tissue analysis to see if their nutrients are given the right and adequate amounts of nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and all of the essential micro and macro elements.
Oh. Yeah, not a book for me.
Not at all.
No.
No pictures.
No pictures.
Apart from the front cover.
Just tables and charts.
This next one's definitely not for you. But I'll give a little breakdown of this book, Plant Nutrition and Soil Fertility Manual by J. Benton Jones. Mostly really, really, really good for outdoor growers who manage their soil and want to know a bit more about plant processes and how they can adapt their soil to grow the best, because it talks about liming, fertilisation, irrigation, the taxonomy of plants, the texture, pH.
Oh, taxonomy.
So, like, you get family, you get genus, family, species, basically all the different
Wasn't he like some famous old geezer called taxonomy? Like he invented like a law or rule, like.
Well, you're the man for laws and rules, not me.
No, like no science.
Oh, science, law and rule, taxonomy. No, but maybe the person.
Or it sounds like that name.
The person who invented.
Does
taxonomy,
anybody know what I'm talking? Yeah.
Maybe it might have been called John Taxonomy or something like that.
I don't know.
It's possible.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Good book, very in depth though.
How much?
This book would cost you around £15-20. These tend to cost, but it doesn't actually say on it. There you go.
So yeah, not one for me again. So. Right. So.
Right, you're getting to a book now that I haven't read cover to cover. I've dipped in and out of it.
Ooh.
So please don't be too harsh. This is a very, very probably the second most intense book that
I've read
you've
it.
got in the book.
That's me. I've read the book.
No. You did it front to back. You haven't read it properly. You need to back to front.
And then we go that way. And
Are
that's
you done?
that done.
Let me have a little flick through it. Try and catch up.
Right. This looks like
Old
this,
book.
Old book. I could tell
old
that
book.
some of the equipment.
But funnily enough, photosynthesis hasn't changed in the last 8 billion
Okay,
years. So
okay. I have found
I think
something.
we're good with this book.
What is freeze etching?
No idea whatsoever.
Oh.
No idea whatsoever.
Okay.
Let's have a little look.
Oh.
Freeze etching or freeze fracturing.
But
is a
you know
technique-
everything, Steve,
No,
about science.
No.
We know everything, don't
no.
we?
That's the beauty of science.
Don't we know everything?
If science thought it knew everything, it'd stop, wouldn't it?
So do we get stuff wrong, are you saying?
All the time, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we get stuff wrong. Science gets stuff wrong all of the time. That's the beauty of science, is the fact that we do tests we find out what we currently believe to be true based on the best tests that we can do and the best research. But then in 20 years' time, more people are doing the same tests, and they're doing it with better machinery, and they've got better lenses to measure whatever you're measuring with, and we find new things out. At one point, we thought the atom was the smallest molecule on the planet. It's actually, they've got subatomic particles now, quarks and photons, and so we learn
nanoparticles.
Nanoparticles, yeah. So we do learn a lot each time. Actually, on that point,
Anyway, never mind.
freeze
that.
action.
Yeah, you're trying to get off
Is a
this.
technique for the preparation of EM samples in which frozen cells or biological membranes are broken open under high vacuum, and the newly exposed surfaces are replicated on thin 2 to 10 nanometers carbon or metal film. So yeah, it's interesting. Basically, it's a method
It's
of...
interesting. You can't give me that as an answer.
Well, I don't understand it, so anything I don't understand, I find interesting.
Oh, okay. This is it's a bit of a mad.
Super. I'll be honest, there's not anything in there that I feel like you could ask me a question on, because it's that intense that you're going to end up saying, what's this diagram of?
Photosynthetic apparatus of C4 plants.
Yeah. Oh, so we know what a C4 plant is.
Yes,
now. We're learning.
We're learning.
There's a point to this podcast
something's
after
going
all.
on. So, okay, the book's about photosynthesis.
Or literally everything. So from when, in a simple form, from when a photon of light, or let's be more precise, when 12 photons of light, because that's what it takes to activate the carbon molecule.
So is that what this is? Light absorption and the two photosystems?
Systems, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So essentially, it's telling you in absolute detail what happens when 12 photons of light hit chlorophyll and what happens in the plant to make that glucose, and then how it gets rid of oxygen.
Look at this. This has got to be a word of the day. If I can read this word, mate, I want a badge. Oh.
I want to know what this word is now.
Don't say it.
Okay.
Let me have a go first. That's hard.
Yeah, okay.
Is that hard?
Yeah.
Do you know how to say that?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. Do you want me to give you the first 5? Because it's not broken up, because it's such a long word. It's hard to find out where you take a breath, if you know what I'm saying. So the first 4 or 5 letters is intra.
Yeah,
so,
tylach, odial.
intrathylakoidal.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Intrathylakoidal. See, once you know it, it's easy. That was a hard way to read that, you know.
See,
Intrathylakoidal.
I spent £9,000 going to university, and I know
What's
to pronounce
this?
words
What's
because
going
of
on
it.
here? This is like
Let's have a quick look.
Yeah, there's like some crazy diagram going on here, and it's just all different colours, and it looks like all cells.
Essentially,
and
it's
stuff.
a trying to describe it in the easiest way possible. It's a picture of a. It's probably about a 20 to 30 nanometer space, which is tiny, and it's all the individual cells within them that make up the leaf. And there's not even worth mentioning any of those names, because they're all madness. But that's heavy.
So this is a super intense on photosynthesis.
Look, there's a lovely picture though of a stomata.
A stomata.
Yeah, and that is an actual picture from a. Don't think it's an electron microscope. Oh, it'll be an electron microscope, colour stained. So that's an actual picture of a stomata.
And what is a stomata?
Stomata is how the plant exchanges gas and water vapour. So
is that something to do like the way the plant sweats?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly like that. It's like heart pores. Stomata lets carbon dioxide in, and lets oxygen out, and also there's things called guard cells around the stomata. Let's see if you can see them. Where's that stomata gone? So see these like bands around there?
Yeah.
They're guard cells. That's the stomata in the middle, and these are guard cells around here.
Protecting it.
So when
Well, I never asked you
when the
about this
atmosphere is
picture.
too hot and it's losing a lot of water, the guard cells close the stomata over, so it stops losing water, and then you start to see your plant wilt. If it's in lovely conditions, stomata open, so carbon dioxide can get in. I know, yeah, real old school field analysis from the 1980s.
I'm just laughing at some of the images because, like, some of the images are probably like from the 70s or the 80s and that.
With the craziest
and he's
instruments for measuring.
What's that? His pocket calculator?
Yeah, it's about the size of his
in a suitcase.
Yeah. But that's it. See the piece of equipment he's using there to measure. He's probably measuring the amount of the rate of photosynthesis under certain daylight conditions. Is
customer state. You're gonna have to go and sort a customer out.
Tell them all about. Tell them about it. And then maybe get on to the next point.
Right, Steve's going to see a customer. Oh, hello. This one's got a CD in it. He's been cheating. Oh, this one's got a CD in it. Oh, Steve's back.
How are you getting on with
hydroponic food production?
Oh, Howard M. Resch.
Yes, and I've just come to the back and found a CD.
Yeah.
You've been cheating.
CD.
That's it. This is good. I haven't never watched this. Have you watched it?
Yeah, it's a few videos and it's images of the plants, and so you can the images that are in the book you can take them off and put them on your computer.
Oh, all the images are in black and white. Crap. I don't like black and white images. This looks like a really old book as well.
It's not that old, no. It's
Why,
in the 2000s.
Why the bloody hell haven't they put colour in
Probably cost a lot more money. And
so, plant nutrition.
Plant nutrition.
Plant nutrition, mate.
Is that what happens when you use a bad A and B?
Plant constituents.
Constituents.
Yeah.
Okay. Constituents.
Yes.
Okay. You're like Michelle's owl fella. He'll say like he calls Tesco Teskies. He'll call Argos Argus, and you try and tell him that it's not the way you say it. Because that's the way I say it.
Obviously, you can read properly then, can't you? You know, big shout out to Michelle's owl fella. Went to the same school as me, but just a few years before, eh?
Yeah.
So
he lives in Prescott, so that might be a reason why as well. Up in the sticks,
the water's special up there. pH levels off the scale.
It affects you.
Yeah, that is a test you can do in your local area if you find to have
a weird father-in-law.
Yeah, or strange local inhabitants. Just test the pH scale. If you find it above 14, they tend to be... Yeah. So, plant constituents.
Yeah.
What's that? What's a plant constituent?
The parts that make up the plant. So to put it into human form, you could go crazy on the molecular and atomic scale. Same humans are made up of carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and all that sort of stuff. But plants are made up of cells, cell walls, and the nutrients as well that's made up of. So it's made up of carbon, hydrogen,
so basically,
oxygen.
I'm flicking through the images in this book. No, I haven't read the book, but what I am seeing is a lot of commercial greenhouses, greenhouse growing. And the only reason I know that is because I've been to loads of greenhouses, and that's where I learnt my learning. Not through the book. I went to the actual. God rest their souls. Many of them, because a lot of them are dead. Glass houses just ruined. And
I thought that you meant the people that taught you.
No, not the people.
The actual glass houses.
The people are still going. The facilities are dead. But and looking through this book, I can tell this is a commercial scale book, because there's a lot of different varieties of stuff. What's going on here?
So that's in California. Let's have a look where it was done. Watercress in Fillmore, California. So just growing watercress on that looked like a raft, some sort of raft flotation, the DWC.
So here we go.
Waterculture.
What is a waterculture?
Probably it's the commercial way of saying hydroponics.
Yeah, I thought so.
So it's just
Well, introduction.
You're reading the first line.
I'll read the first couple until I can't see anymore, because I can read it for a little bit without my glasses, and then it starts going all fuzzy. Of all the soilless methods, waterculture by definition is true hydroponics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because there's hydroponics and then there's hydroponics. Hydroponics is classed as, you know, the soil in inverted commas that we use in our shop, which is actually peat.
Yeah.
And then there's cocoa.
Yeah.
And then there's like the cocoa and the peat. They're classed as hydroponics, but they're not true hydroponics because it's still a media, but it's soilless.
Okay.
True, what he's on about is actual DWC. The roots sit in water, and you control the water that's going on in there.
Okay. Well, water culture includes aeroponics.
Mm-hmm.
In aeroponic systems, plant roots are suspended into a closed, dark. We don't know because we know what aeroponics is, don't we?
Yeah.
Do you know what aeroponics?
Oh yeah.
What is it?
Essentially, it's for the ease of people. It's that have used extreme propagators. It's a reservoir of water with the nutrients sprayed up to the root ball.
It also goes on to mention NFT,
Nutrient film technique.
yeah, which is also a popular one from back in the day.
Back
as
in the
well.
day, the
Back in the
original
day, yeah.
hydroponic method.
Okay, so it's just basically a mass scale of food and production and how. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like the book?
I did, because it taught me something that I don't get to practice every day, and that is commercial style hydroponics and growing.
Okay.
It helped me understand about making your own nutrients. It says a definitive guidebook for the advanced home gardener and the commercial hydroponic grower. Hydroponic food production by Howard M. Resch. Howard M. Resch is a legend, an absolute legend. He's been in the industry for a long time, and he's written quite a few books. Brooks.
Are you just getting your name in there? Yeah. Shout out to Brooks.
And it was really interesting because it's allowed me to get an insight into how commercial hydroponics really works, mostly in California and in Americas, and also making your own nutrients as well. So commercial people don't go out and buy 10 litres of CANNA A and B. They have 1,000 litre IBCs, and they'll add salts of calcium nitrate, ammonium phosphate, and that way they'll make their own blend.
Okay, smarty pants.
And he helps you with the ratios and mixing, how to mix. And all
How
that
much
stuff.
was he? How much is the book?
That one probably about £25.
Ooh.
25,
Okay.
£30.
So, I picked 10 books. We've went through 5 so far, so
Yep.
we're halfway.
Yeah.
Let's have a halfway time out and check what's going on.
Okay. Adam says, was it a CD or a DVD? That one was a CD. Throw it into your computer, pull out any images, pull out the videos.
Oh, was that
he
it?
took. Yeah.
Oh, that's shit.
Wasn't a DVD that you
Wasn't
sit
he?
down with a cup of tea.
Oh,
No.
that's shite.
No,
Shite.
the
Crap.
CD.
Don't worry, anyway, you've got NPK,
YouTube coming soon.
yeah, very soon, so you can watch me and Steve
Well, Barry has been hard at work doing the shop. He's been
Yeah.
building up on
working his backside off.
and he's done it beautifully. I'll throw some pictures.
He's
up
even
soon.
done a shoulder in as well, well, he's trying to blag.
Yeah, that's a blag that. Yeah.
Blag.
Because I've seen him throwing rocks at all.
Oh, you want to see him drive his rally car, mate, with that shoulder?
Oh yeah, that bad shoulder. Handbrake tear.
Yeah.
Scratch.
Yeah. So, Barry, we're on to you, lad. Don't be trying to blag us. We've seen him wheeling his motorbike as well. We've seen doing them super stunts where he was wheeling his motorbike over big mud
what are they
hills.
called? Wheelies and
Supermans and everything.
endos.
He was doing the handstands on it and everything.
Yeah. Gareth Cameron's joined. Gareth, we've sent him some nano iron and nano silica.
Good.
He's a big part of the Scottish National Vegetable Society.
Excellent. Do us a favour, Gareth. Please, once you test your stuff, come on to our live feed and drop your results live in front of everybody.
Well, very, very knowledgeable, old school grower.
Honest opinion, how you thought it is, what it is, give it to us. That's it.
Listen, he's old school. He's already told me straight. If it's shit, I've got to tell people it's shit. And I said
Sound?
exactly why I give it to you.
Good stuff. Let's get him on live feed when he gets his results.
Just to give you a little bit of insight as well, because I've been having a few phone conversations with Gareth. Gareth's grandson, who is 12 years old and an avid gardener,
Okay.
just won, let me get this right, the onion or leek, it was one of the two. He won the biggest leek and the biggest onion.
Oh,
Live caller.
live caller on the phone. We're gonna go on, crack on with teaming with microbes. Oh, serious shit. we're not going to spend too much on this book link because this one looks really crazy. Oh, microbes. It's going into the Organic Gardener's Guide to the Soil and Food Web. The food web's interesting. Steve absolutely loves all this stuff. He actually loves every part of it. Anyway, teeming with microbes. I've just had a brief look through this one. It looks a bit mad because the next thing I can see all animals in here.
Ooh, animals.
There's like pigeons or something. Nah, squirrel. It was a squirrel.
Was it?
No,
Oh, look,
he's
there's
a
a slug. Well, this one's by Jeff Lowenfels again, isn't it?
Really?
Mm.
And a worm.
A prominent person.
A worm and some maggots, nematodes, algae and slime molds.
This book is called The Teeming with Microbes, The Organic Gardener's Guide to the Soil Food Web. So, really important.
What's the food web?
So the food web, think of a web.
Like a spider's web.
Yeah. And then think about all of the strands coming outwards from the middle. Okay? Now, your earphones have come out.
I can't hear myself.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's gone quiet. Oh, I'm back.
Oh, you're back. You're back.
Yeah. Go on, the food web.
Think of a web, spider's web.
Yeah.
And then start from the middle.
With all the flies caught in it.
Yeah. Well, that just makes for a nice picture, but it's got nothing to do with my
That's
analogy.
like a food web for the spider, then, isn't
That's
it?
the actual spider's web, yeah. But it's just a web. It's a clean web.
Clean web.
No flies.
No flies.
Start from the
Is
middle.
the spider in it?
No.
No
Just
spider,
a web.
just a web.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at the middle would be your most basic forms of life. So these would be algae. These would be bacterias and the simplest forms of life. And then as you go progressively outwards, you go up the food chain. So at the very, very top would be humans, lions, eagles, basically things.
Why do you always say things about eagles? You love eagles.
Do I?
Don't you?
I don't know.
I
don't know. I do like eagles.
I know.
But they're prominent in my food web story. They are the alpha male, alpha
So where's the
female
web?
species.
I thought that was the food chain.
So that's because on the food web is the interconnectedness of every species.
Interconnectedness.
Yeah, that is a real word.
That's an
actual word as well.
Nah, I'm not
That's the
having that shit.
interconnectivity, the interconnectedness.
Don't try and bullshit me, lad. Hey, there's no way that's a legit word. You try to mask it with interconnectivity, which is a legitimate word, but there's no way interconnectivity.
Makey,
there's no way that's a legit word.
Look up
interconnectedness. There's no
interconnectedness,
point, trust me.
and let's see if Google corrects you.
Nah.
But the soil
Siri
food.
would laugh at you if you said that.
Siri wouldn't understand.
Anyway,
the word I said.
so what's going on here with all these? So
mulch.
I'm saying
Is it a word, Makey? Yeah, it's a word.
Oh, smart. I should have got the dictionary here. Mulch. What is mulch?
Mulch is like the
Is a nickname that Porsky would use to put emulsion on wall. Get the mulch on wall.
Get that mulch on wall.
Get mulch on wall and fucking blacken it, Porsky. If Porsky's watching, me graffiti artist, mulch is his slang word for emulsion.
Yeah, and for all of our worldwide listeners, like up in the north of England,
yeah, for everybody in America and Canada or
Australia,
everywhere, Australia, we have paint called emulsion that we paint on our walls.
Yeah,
and we have a graffiti artist who
is from a certain area of the country called Preston.
Yes, and
up from to north,
and has really interesting accent, and they call the paint that emulsion. Mulch.
And they call it mulching, but because they say it so fast, they go, it sounds like, get that mulching.
No, they get the mulch.
He said, get the mulch.
Yeah.
So you came in with loads of mixed soil and compost and started throwing
it all
over
and
the
he's
place.
like, what are you doing, man? Fucking hell. So, yeah, anyway, what is mulch?
I don't even want to bullshit you and give you a wrong answer, but off the top of my head, I think it's a combination mixture of soil and dead leaf material, organic topsoil.
Stop.
Go on.
Mulch is anything that can be placed on top of the soil to reduce evaporation, prevent weed growth, and insulate plants. Using this definition, plastic sheeting makes great mulch.
Okay. So you can use organic material, dead leaf matter and that to use mulch, but you could also use plastics. Interesting.
Bacterial versus fungal mulch. So which would be better?
I think you'd use the both at the same time. I think it'd be impossible to just have bacterial mulch or just have a fungal mulch. They both inhabit the same spaces. You can't. It'd be unlikely to have one without the other.
So what's so prominent about this book to me is the thing about the... Yeah, there's the pigeon. Oh, yeah. There's a pigeon. Say pigeon. Is how linked this is to plants. What's this really got to do with plants? Because I'm struggling with this one.
Again, it's for the organic grower. So when people grow organically, they use complex combinations of...
Why is this taking up space in our shelf, on the shelf?
Because it's important to know. In order to grow organically, you need to know what microbes and that break down organic nutrients.
So what do I need to know about a microbe?
So what you need to know is about a microbe in the most basic form of it. You need to know that microbes are essential in organic growing. Without them...
But where are they?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
You are more microbes and bacteria than you are Thomas.
Okay.
So there's trillions and trillions of bacteria on you right now.
So you don't so we're saying here. So what we're saying is, so when I'm growing plants, can I use microbes to make them better?
Can you use what? Microwaves? No. So you just do a small wave.
It's a microwave.
Dick.
Microbes. Anyway.
Can you use microbes to do what?
Enhance the growth of my plants.
Absolutely. It's actually said in one way or another in all of these books that growing without microbes or without beneficial bacteria and fungus actually does the plant more damage than growing with them. This world that we live on is called Earth, and we humans think that we own it by what we do on the planet.
But is it round or flat?
It's an oblate spheroid.
Hey, Mickey. That's a whole new podcast.
Well, you think it's round, he thinks it's flat, and I think it's an oblate spheroid.
No, he's saying it's an oblate spheroid.
Oh, no, it actually is an oblate spheroid. But you don't mean the world flat, then? An oblate spheroid is just a sphere, like a football, that's been squashed at the top and the bottom.
Like a rugby ball?
It's flatter on the out. That's like, I don't know what shape that is.
Rugby ball shape?
No, I don't know what the actual thing
or American football.
But it's not quite that.
See, I reckon it's like basketball shape.
Yeah, with a little bit. Yeah, with a little bit of a squash top and bottom, because the equator's further apart than we are at the North and South Poles.
What?
So you're actually, if you live on the equator, you're closer to the sun than you are, because it bulges in the middle, because the Earth spins. Then the centre of gravity moves outwards.
I can't be asked.
Oh well, we nearly got a good conversation out of him.
Anyway.
Essential for the organic grower. Really essential.
Really, really tough book, that, for me. I wouldn't even entertain that one.
Read Teeming with Nutrients before you read Teeming with Microbes, personally.
Okay.
Here's a fella that's never right. Aye.
Hello, James Wong. This is bloody interesting. Didn't realise I picked up this guy's book. Oh my goodness. Right. What do I remember about this guy's kipper? Why is his name ringing a bell in my face?
Because we had a little incident with us.
Did they piss us off?
Yeah.
Why did he piss us off?
Because James Wong is...
Do you look up to James Wong?
Yeah.
You did do?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did do, yeah.
Yeah, you admired his work?
Yeah, because he's a botanist, Q-trained botanist.
So he's very good at what he does?
He is very good at what he does. However... I think he's very good at what he does, but certain people that I speak to that also do what he says he does say he doesn't do much of what he says he does.
Oh, he's a bullshit artist.
I wouldn't say he's bullshit, because he's able to write these books, and he's Q trained, so he's very good, but he just doesn't practice very much of what he does anymore. So there's people that are better than him. There's people that are better than him that don't write books.
But
And he
I
claimed-
reckon that could be people who could be jealous because he could be very good.
Yeah, to be
And
honest, he
you've
probably
al-
is very, very good. He's Q-trained botanist.
Yes. So, and I know that you wouldn't be bothering with him if
I thought he was shit.
Yeah. So why is there something like an alarm bell ringing?
Because
have we got a story behind this
a
geezer?
little bit of a
have we?
story behind James Wong.
Okay.
So obviously, I looked up to James Wong.
Yeah.
And still do for his art of
Has he
botany.
got TV shows? Or something?
He's got TV shows. He's BBC. He's
Oh,
very
okay.
well known in the gardening
Okay.
botany community. He writes a lot of books as well. So I thought this was about 4 years ago.
And this is sponsored by the Royal Horticultural
Yeah.
Society?
Yeah, it's a book by them.
By them?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
And that he's written for
Okay.
them.
How much is this book? £20?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So about 4 years ago, I messaged James Wong, really before he had really, really famous.
It wasn't even that long ago.
What, don't you think it was that long?
No.
Oh, no, it wasn't, because it was when we started
Yeah.
podcast.
No, it wasn't.
So it was about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And we contacted him, or tried to contact
I
him.
didn't see he did.
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook message, just every emails to his team.
What was you trying to contact him for?
Because I would have liked him to come onto the podcast and talk about what happens when you're a Q-trained
So you're
botanist.
pestering this guy to come on our
Oh,
podcast?
yeah.
Okay.
'Cause I wanted to meet him, wanted to speak to him, wanted to
Okay.
learn from him.
Okay.
Still would like to learn from him.
So
He's got a
you
lot to
basically
teach.
you were gassed off this guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Steve's idol. Yeah. What happened?
I wouldn't go that far.
Have you got a picture of him up on your bedroom wall?
No.
James Wong. Please
quite,
come and
not
stroke
quite.
my green bean.
You're a dirty bugger.
Ooh. Anyway, so
After 6 months of sending emails and messages and messages
Stalker.
and messages and messages,
Stalker.
I wanted him to get on the show, and I understand it's quite hard because he's got a lot of commitments.
but obviously he sent you a nice email back saying, unfortunately I'm busy and I can't.
No, his team eventually got back in touch with me saying we'll pass the message to James. So I waited another few weeks, got in touch with his team again, said yes, we'll pass the message to James.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Did the third
Excellent.
time, and then he's very busy. You got to understand, he's very busy. We'll pass the message on. So this is
Okay.
just pass the message on.
It's just fair dues. He's a busy
So
guy.
I sent him.
He's world famous.
Yeah, I sent him a message on
God,
Facebook,
man.
and he saw the message. 'Cause
He
you know
saw
where-
it.
the
How
way
do you know
comes-
he saw it?
Because you
though?
know the
And
way
it
it
wasn't his
comes up.
Facebook team who saw it.
Because you know the way. Well, it was it's James Wong's profile. So unless he's
Okay.
got somebody else running his profile,
Which he could do.
he could do, but not. Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Why do you want to? Because he interacts. So when people ask questions, it's him interacting back.
So, okay.
'Cause he's the Q-trained
We'll assume
botanist.
it's his profile.
Because he's answering people's
Facebook.
questions.
He's not Facebook blanking you, was he?
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
Bad
my.
man Blanca.
Bad man Blanca.
So he's seen the message, and then I thought, obviously he's seen it, he'll get back. Then a week, no messages back. So I got really annoyed. And
Oh, you
got on
didn't
my
get
high
annoyed, did
horse.
you?
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
with James Wong.
Yeah, got
The
annoyed with
world
James
famous James Wong.
Yeah.
You didn't do that, did you?
Yeah.
What did you do now?
So I put a message up on his James Wong's Facebook board saying,
No, you didn't do that, did you?
yeah, doing.
Did you troll? You never trolled James
A
Wong?
little bit, did you?
Really?
Yeah, because I put the message I sent him up on his big Facebook board for everybody to see and say, get off your high horse, and remember where you came from, and come and speak to people that buy your books and pay the wages and all that sort of stuff.
Oh,
Instead
so you're
of
giving it all up.
lording it round with the
I'm
B-
a fan.
Yeah, lording it round with the Queen and the
Oh,
BBC.
tell her
High.
hello, Queen.
Come and speak to the real.
Does he
people.
have an OBE?
He probably, if he doesn't, you'll get
Or
one
an
very
NBE?
soon. He'll get one very soon. More
Has he
than
been
likely.
to Chelsea Flower Show?
I think he has. Yeah.
Okay.
But he's never won. I don't think he's won gold at Chelsea.
Sorry, James. Anyway, we're getting to the story now. Come on. So
So
what
yeah.
happened?
So then
You've
his
trolled him
followers
on Facebook.
His followers attacked me.
Oh,
I
it
got
was a fest.
hundreds of messages of abuse going, don't you talk to James like that.
How dare you talk to my James like that?
He's a lovely person.
lovely
I
man.
spent 3 seconds with him at such and such
I
show.
seen him in a book one time and he looks so nice. Ow.
And I got properly held by
So
loads
you
of them.
got absolutely terrorised.
Yeah.
didn't
And then
you?
a few people started sticking up for me going, fucking hell, pipe down, he just wants to speak to the guy.
Yeah.
And he's not been fair enough to reply to his messages.
How dare you want to speak to someone? How dare you require a reply?
I know.
Who do you think you are?
I'm telling you.
You can't contact James Wong and ask him to at least reply to your email after 9 months. Who do you think you are?
An admirer.
And what
A
happened
fan.
then?
Someone who bought all his books.
Okay, so what happened?
So James
So
then
the-
messaged
Hold
back.
on. So am I right in assuming there was a bit of war going on James Wong's Facebook page.
Oh yeah, and him and his fans won. They fucking battered me.
So what happened?
He ended up messaging back on the board saying, thank you for your message. Unfortunately, I have never seen any of these messages, and I've not been informed of any of this. Airing your opinions on social media in this way is completely unprofessional, and blah 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 blah. And then said, if you wanted to contact me, you should have done so in a polite and courteous manner.
Okay, we fucking did, lad. 9 months down the trot, lad. Give him some respect, yeah. We're still big in your... Is he a good book?
It is a good book, yeah.
Very good book?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is it a good book?
Easy hints and tips for increasing flavour.
But was James Wong's answer to us a load of bullshit?
Yeah.
Is he a bad man blanker?
Bad man blanker.
Makey, can we have that put in, edited in? Bad man blanker.
Bad man blanker.
What that means is, James, is we know you're busy, mate. We're very busy. But I have time for the people who help us be where we are today. Thank you to every one of our customers and people who support us, because we could not do any of this, what I'm doing right now, without yous. Yeah, and I'll never ever forget it. Even if I'm sitting on my own plane somewhere.
Listen,
I'll still do podcast and I'll still answer your mad crazy ass questions. So James Wong, you were wrong, and you should have said, hi, I am really busy. Unfortunately, I can't come on your podcast, but I'm really pleased that you're a supporter and you've been casing me for 9 months. Please, will you fuck off now? I have answered your email. Simple as, James. Done and dusted. But, oh no, you're too good to speak to the people. So, well, I'm done with your book, mate. I don't like it. I don't like your attitude. You probably don't like mine, but does this look a face of somebody who really gives a shit?
Audio description: the face does not give a shit.
So, Fundamentals of Horticulture, edited by Chris Beard. What's that mean? He never wrote it?
No, so he's probably the main contributor, but Chris Beard is gone through the book and made sure all the statements are correct.
This looks to me like a textbook from school.
Yeah, it is, pretty much, yeah. It's basics horticulture as well. So it's from the RHS and goes through all methods of propagating seeds, getting seeds to young vegetative plants, getting young vegetative plants to flowering.
Oh, I find some strange words. Has anybody seen the film Catch Me If You Can with Frank Abagnale? Who he's a young kid, his father's in problems with the
Played
IRS.
by Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh yeah, it's a legendary film, and he's a scam artist, con artist.
Tom Hanks trying to catch him.
Yeah, and if he can. And I've just come in out of the whole book. This is how weird my head is. It says, what's that say? Deadheading. Yeah. Do you know what I'm going to say now? So if you watch that film, he's blagged his way onto the planes and all that. He's doing checks, and he all of a sudden now he's got a pilot suit and stuff, and he waltzes into the airport, and he lands on the plane, and he goes into the woman grabs him, and she goes to him, "Are you my deadhead?" And he looks at her and he goes, "Deadhead? Yeah, yeah." And he doesn't realise what it is. And deadheading on the plane is basically the freeloader. Yeah. So he ends up sitting on the little fold-down seat on the plane. Yeah. What's deadheading got to do with plants?
Yeah, great example outside right now. You know all of our plants that flowered and produced loads of lovely flowers? Yeah. And they've all gone brown, fell off. And there's a little bulb underneath that's covered by green, and there's a load of brown, wrinkly, dead shit. Yeah. Well, deadheading is removing that so it allows new flower to come forward. So if we deadhead all the plants outside in our bed, it'll come for good again in the next few months.
Okay. Excellent. Some big charts and stuff like that in this book. It's a very colourful book. Got a lot of good photographs in here. You know what? To be honest, I think this is something right down my alley, this type of book.
You know why it is?
You know why? Yeah, look, see this shit here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bullet points.
Bullet points. So I've got a diagram, and then I've got bullet points, and you'll get on to me.
And if it tickles your fancy, a little bit of a paragraph about that bullet point.
Okay.
So what you do is you wouldn't actually read that book cover to cover. You'd flick through, you found something here. You found a bed.
Propagating plants vegetatively
in the outdoors.
Yeah.
Read what's the bullet point that comes up there?
The frequency of misting can be controlled in several ways. Electronic timer, I can't even read that. The writing's tiny.
The light in here is not great.
Yeah, writing's tiny.
Electronic timer, electronic leaf consists of plastic surface containing 2 terminals along the cuttings, photoelectric control, so mist them when the light is dim, and thermostatic control will mist them when temperatures get a little bit hotter.
Bloody roasting in here.
So I imagine what you do after reading this book is you'd read them bullet points, probably go and buy yourself an electronic timer, an electronic leaf, photoelectric control, thermostatic control, and then go and use them on your plants and see which one you preferred, and actually grow some plants with them.
Yeah.
Is that what you do?
No.
No, because you don't like...
No.
You'd buy one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and just do it that way.
And then if you'd liked it, you'd stick with it. If you didn't like it,
Let's see
you'd
what
look
happens.
into other options.
Yeah, and then I'd look into something else.
Yeah. Would you go for the cheapest option first or the most expensive option first? Electronic time would be the cheapest. Something
No.
like the photo leaf would probably be the most expensive.
Yeah, the cheapest.
And if it works, and it works well,
Yeah.
then it's the best option.
Yeah, and then I can see whether it would be worthwhile investing further. Seed collections. Triploids.
Triploids.
Hold on. Hold on. So breeding. We're in breeding.
Breeding. Yeah, I know what I'd... Because
flowers, fruits and seeds.
You've got diploids.
A triploid plant is one that has 3 sets of chromosomes.
And then, and you had something to do with breeding, but I wasn't sure it was with chromosomes.
That one there.
Triploid plant is one that has 3 sets of chromosomes. Most plants are diploid. Did say that, didn't I? Said diploid with 2 sets of chromosomes. Triploid plants.
What's a chromosome?
Chromosome is what makes up. There's 22 sets of chromosomes in humans.
What is it? Is it a cell?
It's essentially it's our DNA. It's what makes us us.
Okay.
I've bookmarked that because that's where I was up to.
I know. Oh, is that where you've been up to?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, I was interested in that triploid, and then you took it off me. But yeah, it's about breeding and about it. I imagine having a triploid plant will alter the features of the plant and how it...
More in-depth stuff.
How its phenotype would end up coming out.
Okay.
As well as its genotype.
To do with species and... But this says fundamentals of horticulture. So what's the whole aim of this book?
To get you from knowing nothing to be able to grow a plant horticulturally from start to finish.
They've got actually some good images, which are case study images.
Because it's an RHS book. So
it's certified.
Protected cultivation, Victorian glass houses.
Yeah,
I love them.
Nice.
You know when I go to all of my national park places, all of them, because they're old Victorian houses, all of them have got these Victorian high ceiling glass houses.
I think we mentioned it before. We went to Tatton Park and we got a VIP into their ones, didn't we? Which was big shout out to Tatton Park and everything that they do there. You guys are great, and you also led us and the team go through all of your VIP personal behind the scenes. You give us
what's going on.
Yeah, good guided tour.
Because they tend to grow all their baby plants in the glass houses and then distribute them among the big park.
Right. Okay. I'm not going to harp on about that too much because it's the fundamental. Yeah. Give me a little breakdown of the book. How much it is.
Fundamentals of Horticulture, edited by Chris Baird. It's a Royal Horticultural Society book. And the cost, I remember this, it doesn't say on the book, I remember it being quite expensive. You look at £35 to £40, maybe even a £50 book. Not one I would run out and buy, but if you really, really, I'd say, in between passionate and obsessed with plants, then this is the one to take, because some of our listeners will, the methods of working with plants will have been knowledge that's been passed down from person to person, and that knowledge works, and that's what you use. This one is what works horticulturally, scientific horticulture, this is essentially, and what's worked, and case studies of what works, and on the different types of plants. So it's one to just keep an eye out for. It's good to give you foundation level knowledge of horticulture.
It's one to put underneath that wonky table, in the room. I'm only
Hang
messing. To be honest, it was a nice looking book, but it was just a bit more in
out of 8 of these books, your wonky table, they could fix 7 wonky tables for you.
Yeah, they're all pretty. Yeah.
I think you're going to love this next one.
Oh.
Adam, here's a question from Adam.
Marshner. Oh.
Doesn't a bricks meter tell you more or less everything a plant is doing and needs?
Doesn't that just show you the sugar content?
Yeah, it does, yeah. So low bricks, low sugar means the plant's stressed and it's imminent for attack by pest and disease. High bricks means high sugars, means the plant is loving life, so it's less likely to to pest and disease.
No. Oh, okay.
I'm waiting for my refractometer, actually, Adam. I'll bring it on the show next week when it arrives. Bought a refractometer.
Okay.
Yeah,
Who
so
did?
me.
Oh,
the
you did.
NPK did.
Oh, hey, and I knew that. See the way he avoided that first answer there. Yeah, me. Thought I was going to just leave it at that. Oh, you out of your money.
I bought it on behalf of NPK's PayPal.
How much did that cost you?
£20.
Oh, that's okay. Normally with anything saying I'm eating on it. Here's Mum.
Mum's on silence. She's cool.
Should we answer that?
No.
No. We put a live. Come on.
No.
Let's Stephen.
No.
Definitely not. We're testing, Steve.
Yeah, not bringing Mum onto podcast.
Sure, I'll get it on. Right, you're live on podcast now. What do you want to say about yourself?
Don't swear. You are live.
Oh, I love him. Oh, he's my baby. Right, so refractometer. No, yeah, sorry.
So it doesn't
£20,
tell you.
I'm happy
well
with.
worth getting. Doesn't tell you everything about what's going on in the plant, but tells you a lot. And actually, I'm going to start really once I've got my head around the refractometer, how to use it in practical use. I'm going to really start harping on about bricks, because that's what the majority of tests this year is going to be on bricks and improving bricks. So you'll hear me harp on.
Well, you was shitting bricks. I think before today's podcast.
I was wondering what you're going to question me on, yeah, because some of these books I haven't read for 3-4 years. But to be honest,
he hasn't read.
Some of them I haven't read. No, I haven't. This is the one I have not read.
Okay,
but this
is a new book. This
no, it's this is the one I won. I didn't win. I won a game of poker, and I won £80. And I just literally found this book, and it was £80. So I thought, fuck it, let's get the book. And what this book is, it's motivation for me, because it makes me understand that no matter how much I learn, I only have to open this book on any page, no matter what page you open, it's heavy, heavy, heavy science. And it keeps me grounded because it makes me realise you don't know fuck all, Stay. And that's what that book does for me.
We shall see.
I will get round to reading it.
Okay, screening for aluminium resistance.
Ooh. Stop it.
It's like book porn.
Oh, shiver up my back.
Oh yeah, rhizosphere pH. What's rhizosphere?
The area that the root zone lives in.
Pot.
The soil, the media that.
So all of the soil inside the pot is a rhizosphere.
If there's roots and the plants within it. If there's no plants and roots, it's just soil.
Yeah. Soil in a pot.
Rhizosphere is the roots sphere of life. So
like rhizotonic sphere.
Exactly.
It's a new product coming on. Waterlogging injury.
Yeah, so basically that's overwatering, isn't it?
Ooh.
See, maybe this book makes it seem complicated.
No, you're just telling me this is really difficult shit.
Waterlogging. What was that say?
You know what it's like. You know what it's like that to me. It's like reading one of them nightmare text messages, isn't it? You just look at the top, see how it starts, and go waterlogging injury. Plants get injured when they get overwatered.
That's that chapter done.
Next, it's easy. This shit, you know. Ooh. Oh yeah, nutrient deficiency and toxicity.
You forgot your tongue today, didn't you?
And toxicity under waterlogging.
Oh. So, when you're overwater, plants can't uptake nutrients and they become deficient. Next.
Or
Next
when
chapter.
you're underwater and they become deficient.
When they're underwater, they're dead.
You've got no water
unless
to dead.
Unless the algae and pond plants.
So that's that paragraph, Ed.
But look, if you go to somewhere like the front, because that's mostly all writing, just open that, and then flick forward maybe a few. So that there is essentially what the book is about.
Okay.
And that there for the people listening
Effect of transpiration rate on uptake and translocation.
That's literally the most basic thing in the book. And so what that's saying, effective transpiration rate on on uptake and translocation. So
is this the time that it takes for all of this shit to get to where it needs to get and then be consumed into energy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Transpiration.
No, I just wanted to make sure that I can understand what it's saying in this book.
Let me.
Hey, come on, lad.
Look, there's a lot of book to get through. You're pushing me away.
Listen, there's a new book coming out. It's called T's Book of Common Sense. Once you get my Book of Common Sense, everything falls into place. Life hacks, the law, everything is just simple. You don't need to read all of this crap. Well, these do because they teach me. But, okay. K supply, plant growth and plant composition. Now, that sounds to me...
K supply, is that literally K?
K?
Yeah, potassium supply.
That K? Is he talking about that K?
He's talking about that K.
Not Kellogg's special K?
No.
Okay. So that K, which is potassium...
Yeah. That's like a good science joke, that Kellogg's special potassium. It's good science. Thomas just made a science joke. Thomas made a science joke. Kellogg's special potassium. That's what it's getting called from now on from me.
Oh, what was my thing? Anyway, so that's basically the supply of potassium.
And how the potassium's moved around the plant.
And how the plant grows.
Is it mobile? Is it immobile?
So the plant grows with potassium in it or without.
What's it used for, yeah.
Jeez. How long have you been trying to read this book for?
I've had that book for a year and a half.
I mean, you'll have it nailed by the end of this podcast now.
Function of nutrients.
And then what are they? Yeah, and the little two dots and then micronutrients.
Semicolon. Micronutrients.
Right. So, you mentioned something a little bit about this before. So, micronutrients is
anything that's not
midget ones.
Yeah. Micronutrients, anything that's needed in trace amounts, really small quantities. So the plant
like a microwave.
Yeah, just a really small nutrient.
Yeah,
it is, but it's what's needed by the plant in tiny amounts. So nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium needed in a big amount.
Just to help me out here, is this also trace element?
Yeah. So trace elements would be things that are used by the plant to put in 0.001 parts per million. So did you know that plants can use gold, titanium?
So if I got like one of my Mars rings, sovereigns out of the bedroom drawer,
I'd hope that it was more than 0.001 part per million gold.
just threw it in a 10-litre water, give it a stir.
You'd have a nice clean ring.
Okay. Aye, Steve. So this book, it's not as really as hard as it seems, to be honest with you. It's quite easy.
No, it does. It gives you an easy entry part, which is the title.
Oh yeah,
but then it does go in depth.
Adaptation.
Phenoptic. Phono or photo.
Phono.
I'm not sure what phenoptic is then. What's it saying? A phenotypic adaptation.
Oh, right.
So
it says
phenotype.
What did I say?
Phonotypic.
Phonotypic. That does say phonotypic.
You're testing me you're looking to catch me out. You're like, what's phonotypic, Steve? I'm like, I could try and blag in and make myself look like a dickhead.
And what are you saying it is?
Phenotypic adaptations.
And what's
that? You've got genetic adaptations, which is within the plant. Phenotypes is an adaptations to the environment. The strain
and so basically what it's saying is how the variety of the plant adapts
to its environment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you've got two clones,
wow,
one's in height.
We're doing really well here, aren't we?
Yeah, we know a little bit.
We know a little bit.
We know we're getting there.
Little bit.
But it's once you get really into it, it's also
I fall asleep.
It's a good grounder for making you realise how far you've got to go to really understand what's going on in plants.
Right. Protein synthesis.
You know what's making me laugh? Hey, you know what's making me smile? You've actually spent the longest amount of time on the hardest book to communicate to people.
Because what everyone needs to understand is...
we know nothing.
We know nothing. we're continuously learning, and me and Steve are great for one another because we bounce off each other, because Steve really does enjoy reading all this stuff, and I love that, and I take my hat off to you, Steve, because I wished I had the perseverance to read these books. Unfortunately, I'm not the person who can read all these books, and never will. I've never read a book like that in my life. Yeah, completely, ever. I've always just went, need what I need from it, and that's it.
Yeah.
And only if I have to. It's not my enjoyment way of learning. I do not enjoy it. That's like torture. That to me. That's like back in school doing lines. Do you know what I mean? It's not nice.
Do you know why I agreed as well at the beginning of this podcast? Do you know, or last week when you mentioned it, do you know why I thought this would be a good podcast? Because I also love more than anything finding learning new stuff, and I knew that you pull bits out of the book that I didn't know, and if when I find out something that I didn't know, it is like that fire in my belly makes me go, oh, I can't wait to reread that book. But as an aside, you said you like that I like to read books. Do you know, when you're the type of person that likes to read books and loves to do heavy science, you know what the hardest part is, which is your natural talent, is I can read that book in the next 4 to 5, 6 months. I'll explain little bits and bobs to you, and then you'll explain that in a easiest form that allows people to understand it.
Yeah.
So that's what I like. That's what you do really easily.
Well, it's a really tough book. Give us your little...
Marshner's Mineral Nutrition of Higher Plants. Now, it says edited by Petra Marshner, which I think is his daughter. Marshner has now passed away, but it's a testament that the book that he wrote originally, the first edition, is pretty much unchanged by over 12 editors. He's a really, really very highly knowledgeable person. And I bought this book to, like I said, make me realise £80, the most expensive one I've got. Okay. In the booth. Anyway.
So, right. So that's last but not least. Right. I give them a sneaky peek.
Oh, you give them a sneaky peek, did you?
Right. Something interesting. And it's about...
Where's this come through? Where did that come through then?
Don't know. And it's the Cannabis Encyclopedia.
Oh, what did you just say there? Did you just swear?
I've just said cannabis. Ooh. Oh, the word cannabis. Hold on. It's not us who's saying it. It's Jorge Caventes. And it's in a book. So it's not us promoting or doing anything illegal. We are reviewing a book. That is correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Reviewing a book.
And why can we review this book? Because we have friends.
Purchased it on Amazon.
Yes, and we're allowed to, and it's a free world. Well, it's not really, but, we're fucking allowed to review a book if I want to. And all of my friends in California, in Canada, in America, in everywhere where cannabis is totally 100% legal, we have friends who correspond with us on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
And we have...
And they ask questions.
Yes. And...
if I don't read up about it, I wouldn't know. And
we have we have lots of questions for them, because obviously cannabis is legal in their countries, and they're allowed to grow it. And to be honest, some strains of cannabis, if I was ever allowed to grow cannabis, hopefully one day I'll get to grow a cannabis plant once and for all.
Me too.
I would really enjoy it.
I can't wait. To be honest, that's why I'm reading the book, because one day, if I'm allowed to, I'd love to know how to do it.
I'd love to really see what a cannabis plant looks like.
And get Makey's attention. Just find out why that stopped for us on Facebook.
Has Facebook stopped?
Yeah. The live bit stopped anyway, but the podcast hasn't.
Okay.
Anyway, the book. What? Oh, it's still on. It says it's still on, but it's not on.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So... what was I saying then?
You were saying about the book.
The book?
Yeah.
Facebook?
No, the cannabis book.
Oh, the book.
Oh,
yeah.
I said cannabis again.
So this book's really good. And yeah, we were talking about what it'd be like to actually see a cannabis plant. I have actually seen one in Amsterdam in the museum one time. To be honest, this book's actually exceptional. And it's the only book that I fucking like. And it's really, really good. and it's got plenty of colourful pictures, and it's got plenty of... See, Jorge Caventas, who's a personal friend, big shout to Jorge, Georgie, whatever you want to call him.
George
I just
Van
call
Patten.
him Jorge. All right, Jorge.
George.
George.
Tapman George.
No, but I call him Jorge.
Jorge.
Okay.
All day.
All day.
Is this your favourite book out of all of them?
Yeah. The Grower's Bible is a smaller form of this book, but the picture, look at the shit in this, like, it's good. It's very, very good. All products, actual pictures, what's going on, different stages. But see, what I love about this book is you've got a picture of something, what's really going on, and then underneath it tells you what's going on, or maybe implements what not to do or not to do. Yeah. And then it goes on to the next picture and shows you maybe the element of what you've done and how it looks afterwards. Oh my God, it's so good. Oh,
He's got pictures of deficiencies.
The efficiency pictures saying, hey man, this is like
not good.
not good. This is like bad. If your leaf looks like this, you need to go shit, man. And like, it's got pictures of pH meters with like numbers on them and colour. Hey. And there's just top tips everywhere. It's all over. The diagrams are really good. Root structures. Each section's categorised. Look at it. Look at the way he does it. I can...
Chapter 20. Water.
Look at that.
Breaks
it all down, and you just go
into each chapter.
Shit.
So what's in this water chapter?
Oh, soft water, sources of water, purified water, reverse osmosis, altering nutrient solution, raising nutrients with pH, safety precautions, lowering nutrient solution, how fluids move within cannabis, osmosis, irrigation, 50% water rule, overwatering and underwatering. That's just in watering. Oh my God. Now this is big porn.
Yeah.
This is super porn. This is the ultimate porn. Oh, I'm so excited. Now, all of that is a load of crap. And this is really good. So what I'm hoping to do is implement this cannabis stuff into my tomatoes. Because in the UK we can't grow cannabis. And it's very bad, and I wouldn't condone it, and I'd never promote it. But well done to you guys who can. And
we're very jealous.
We are very jealous.
Because it looks like a beautiful plant.
Yeah, and this book is unbelievable. For me it is anyway. You might not like it and think it's really crap. Medical cannabis varieties. So, cannabis sativa, cannabis indica, cannabis ruderalis. Yeah. Feminized cannabis, autoflower, and indica, ICD, CBD, IT, CBD is cannabidiol.
Yeah.
And tetrahydrocannabidiol. As we all might know if we've read any books to do with anything like that. This book's it's the life cycle,
it's a nice book,
seedlings, vegetative growth, clones and cloning. Oh, step by step, ooh, bit by bit, and the pictures. Oh, this book just takes the piss. Step by step by step by step by step by skip. Oh, look at that. Paragraphs, the tips, little diagrams, charts, all in colour, simplified, no bullshit, easy. Next case study, indoor garden, outdoor garden, sketch of a room, deficiency, healthy growth, bad growth, baby growth, preserving the sanctuary. Now, this is key. Handcuffs.
Yeah.
Anybody who's thinking about growing cannabis in the UK, we do not recommend it. It's illegal. We do not condone any of this stuff because you'll end up in them. See them shiny bracelets? They are not Cartier. They are Her Majesty's fucking bastards, and they will put you in them faster than you can say super lemon haze. But anyway, if you're not in the UK, this book is unbelievable and is fucking amazing, to be honest.
I would like to say something though as well. for, you know, people that do show growing, like the onions, the leeks, the pumpkins, the tomatoes, the chilies, then obviously your industry and your community has taught you a lot, and you've probably learned as much as you can from your industry.
Wow.
Come and have a little dip into this industry as well, because Jorge, another reason I've got Jorge's book is because it teaches us a lot about
Where
plant
did you
growth
get this
in general.
book from? Waterstones? was it?
Amazon.
No, we got this one from Liverpool.
Oh, was that on Liverpool?
Yeah,
that one?
yeah. We got this one from the shop in town in Liverpool. We walked into Waterstones and bought this one.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
So this
it's the Growers Bible we got, the other Growers
Yeah.
Bible.
That
This
was
is the
it.
encyclopedia.
Yeah. So we bought this from Waterstones in Bold Street. Yeah, it is on Bold Street.
Yeah.
In Liverpool. Yeah. And it cost us 70 quid. Yeah. Very informational book.
Yeah.
Very, very good book. And I haven't even asked you a single question about it.
No.
I don't want to.
No.
I don't need to. I like this book.
That's your favourite pick of the podcast. Pick of the podcast.
Well, I have. Hold on. Have you tallied all of the results together to see if Steve passed? To see if he gets to stay in the job? Oh, well done.
2 thumbs up.
We've just got 2 thumbs up. That means Steve is still
2 points.
an official NPK member. He's not getting sacked. Excellent. Well done, Stephen.
My yearly test done.
So basically, today, podcast 113, tea testing Steve. We've went over 10 books with a wide array of different subjects. Yeah.
If I'm honest, now, if you've managed, this is a little top secret now. For anyone that's been watching, and you are 1 hour 47 minutes into the podcast, you've obviously suffered. So I'll be honest, a little bit hesitant about bringing some of those books on. And it wasn't the Cannabis Encyclopedia. My books are my passion, and I spend hours and hours and hours researching which books to get. And obviously I read through the books, and the ones that I don't like just get put right away, and the ones that I love are on easy pickings. And this is my heart and soul right there on the podcast. So if you feel like you like me, you like knowing stuff, go and buy those books, because they're my, if I have any sort of secret weapon and people think, oh, how does he know this and how does he know that? Books are my secret weapon, and those books are my secret weapons. So that's where I get a lot of my information from. So there you go. And because they are my secret weapons need to stay secret, and they're not secrets anymore.
It's a secret.
But yeah, they're my favourite books, and if you read them, then you'll take your knowledge to the next level.
Okay. Well, I'm really impressed by your array of knowledge there, Steve.
I'm not impressed, but
Okay.
that's a good thing, because it makes me think now, instead of going home Friday night, putting on Netflix and watching series, I'm going to grab one of those books and go over the stuff I wasn't sure on.
I think the highlight today was, and the reason why I picked this podcast, well, I wasn't really testing Steve, it wasn't a test at all. What I was really showing you is how much in depth we do, and particularly Steve, and how much research, just can't get it pronounced right today, goes into everything that we do. And I know that a lot of our listeners out there might be thinking, yeah, man, them products, they're just different colour bottles, and does this stuff actually mean anything? Well, listen to some of the research and some of the stuff that I've just pulled out of these books. Some of it's biology and biochemistry, you know, and some of it's the basic fundamentals of well, they are the fundamentals of life, because food, vegetational growth, without it, we wouldn't be living at all, you know. So it's I'll just try and home in and drill it into everybody that, you know, if you're one of these people who still believes that maybe a plant, it's just a plant and it's not really that complicated, it's just whatever, this hopefully will make you realise that, you know, there's a lot more to it. And when you do think you know everything, you haven't even just... You haven't
just open any page on Marshall's book and you realise how little you know.
And when I look at them books as well, also, my information's all passed to me through visual learning and talking and whatever. So it's good for me, because I'm testing myself then. When I'm looking through these books, I'm thinking, shit, what does this mean?
Yeah.
And I'm breaking it down with you. And I'm saying to you, so oh, so bricks is sugar, because we talk about it and we do different things, and I understand the methods and how it's, because it's being explained to me. But when I'm trying to read that in a book, in that type of frame of mind, I can't understand it. So I've got to pass it to you, and then you read what it says, and then I'm like, then I pick out pieces, and then I should understand.
There's a great little thing to finish on, the difference between me and you, but our different methods of learning, but how we come to the same conclusion. So we have a polytunnel on our allotment, and we like to grow tomatoes, and you love to grow grapes. For my testing, I'll go to the allotment, I would pick a tomato that's ripened, put it through my refractometer, measure the bricks and see if the plant, as well as visually looking at the plant, and see what sort of health this plant's in, and take those results away and compare them to other tomato plants. That's how I would measure it. Thomas, I know, and I've seen him do this, will go to the allotment, look visually also at his plants to see if there's any glaring errors, but then we'll pick a tomato and eat it and go, ooh, no, it's not quite right, that. Why is that not quite right? What didn't it do? Do we need to add this and this and this to increase the quality and the flavour of the tomato? There's something not quite right there, yeah. And then you pick another one, you go, oh yeah, taste this one, boys, this one's good, and this plant is doing well. And I happen to have used this and this product, and this has been through this treatment. That treatment's good. And we've just done the same thing. Thomas measured it for bricks in his mouth. I used the machine. One had a lot of it. It was a good, healthy plant. One didn't have a lot of it. One was sour. And it's not quite a healthy plant. So we do the same thing, we just do it in different methods, and not one method is the right one. But some people tell us that it's the combination of me and Thomas that work so well together, and it's bringing science to the way Thomas uses functionality. And
I've just seen the comment there off Adam, and it said, plant is life, we are a plant.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we finish on that?
Yeah, I think so.
Adam, we're finishing on your comment. Plant is life, we are a plant.
Well done. This was podcast 113, T Testing Steve, with myself, T.
And myself, Steve.
Thanks for listening.
What song are we going to finish on? T Testing Steve. What song are we going to finish on for today?
I don't know, we'll keep it a surprise.
We're going to keep it a surprise, Makey. You're going to think, as well as that huge amount of editing you've got to do. Guys, once again, thank you so much for listening.
It was a long one.
And we'll be back next week with 114. We'll knock on the door.
See you soon.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
When man a bad man blanker, grab it and swerve it, turn it, grab it and burn it, banging that Kermit, gotta grab it and firm it, banging that German whip, slanging that Sherman, man had to burn them bucket and grabbing that burden. I just linked up with Buck and I'm with Alex in Berlin.